Hey, Judd here. Judd with the broken car. Broken car. Got it up on jacks because the first thing that what do you call that? That plate underneath has to come off. So I figured I'd take that off first. So I've got it up on 2 hydraulic jacks. But then I'm looking at it and I'm going to try something that I was told not to try. I discovered that this is the radiator. This thing here is plastic. This thing is plastic and it's split right here. Focus, focus, focus. Right there. Yeah, right along there. Actually, my fingernail digs into it like one of the other. Anyways, I'm going to try welding plastic on top of that. This is like ABS or PVC. I don't know what it is, but it's a hard plastic. And I'm going to go ahead and weld that. You can see it's not that big a spread. There is a little bit of spread there. But I think if I fill that in, I got nothing to lose, because if it doesn't work, I've got the radiator. I've got the replacement radiator. If it does work, it saves me all the hassle of taking this thing out and replacing it, which I really don't want to do. I'm not a car guy. So I just washed that off quite thoroughly with my Dawn super spray stuff. I didn't spray in there because I didn't want to get anything in there. I put it on that paper towel and cleaned that off real good. So that's real clean now. Try that and we'll see what happens there. And if it works, golden. Also fudged a couple of replacement fixes here. These are ripped out because of the weight of this once it got soaked by the steam from the radiator. And before I got this car, apparently a rat was living in here. So I made some washers to hold these, which had broken through, out of the bottom of a cake pan, doubled over. Just needed to give me a little bit bigger washer there. I've still got to replace a couple that I'm flat out missing. And that whole thing had fallen down into here. So I wanted to get that out of the way. Quickie repair there. So I've got the soldering iron heating up. And I've got my black plastic welding strips, otherwise known as zip ties. And take another peek in there at that. And hopefully we'll get a nice weld. Okay, there's my first go around. Looks okay, but I got to get a magnifying glass, take a closer look at that. Okay, I just inspected that with a light, a very good light, and a magnifying glass, and it looks pretty good. But I'm going to add some more material to do some build up there, because I can. Okay, so some of it I was able to pick off with my fingernail, which isn't good. So I just redid a whole section here and reseated the rest of it, and we'll see how that works. Okay, is that focusing? Yeah, okay, I've done what I can. There we go. There we go, yeah. Okay, that's about the best I can do. I'm working on this upside down and inside out, because I got to lean over into this and do it. So it's a little awkward. But I think I'll let that set up and see what happens. Okay, shoulder up, started her up. There's starting a leakage. We'll test this, see if it's... Let the air work out of the system or something. I can tell you one thing, there's some kind of crud in there. Because there was all sorts of crud around the cap. There she goes, down. And you can see the crud in there. That doesn't look like antifreeze. So I don't know if you put one of them sealers in here or something. Okay, well, she's starting to get warm, so we'll see if anything's going to happen there. Right to the left of the cap is where it blew out. I've got the heat on low as instructed. Let this run for a while, let it get hot, and we'll see what happens. Okay, I got it up to operating temp. I got the heat on full blast. And it's holding. How long it'll hold, God knows. But what I am seeing is a little bit of bleed through. Not even a leak, but it just keeps getting moist. which means like a micro core or something. I don't know if building up anymore would help that, because it would probably mean the seal at the crack itself has got a gap in it. So we'll let it run for a while. Yeah, I switched the AC on to high. Temperature is as high as I ever see it get. Been running for about half an hour, and it still seems fine. At least half an hour, maybe more, I don't know. So I think I'm gonna take an okay on that. Maybe build up a little bit more on it, but I think I gotta go on that. Now the idea is that this car is such a wreck that there's no point in putting a new radiator in there. Anyway, I've already put too much money into this thing. It's all patched together. I mean, right here, this guy's got one of the hoses taped. You know? So, really don't want to put a lot into this. Plus, I like the idea of fixing something rather than replacing it. So, we'll see. I got to go to Gainesville on Thursday. We'll see what happens. So, there you go. I'm going to go with that. Happy day to you. Got here, morning after. Just drove it down to AutoZone to get some bits, and got a little bit of leakage right there. A little bit of bleed through, but nothing to worry about, and drove fine. Now I gotta replace the rest of these press caps, or whatever you call them, retainer pieces. And I just lost one. I had to pop out a couple, and one fell down in there. I go down in the engine and find it. Well, after that report, I poked around at the repair, and it didn't sound right, and I picked at it, and I was able to peel the whole thing off. So it turned out not to be so good. It was in effect a cold solder joint. I don't know if you're familiar with soldering. If you do a cold solder joint, you'll melt the solder in there, but it doesn't bond to the material. And that's in effect what happened. So I went back again and tried it, melting the actual plastic of the radiator to try to bond it together and fill. And if I'd had some feed material of that particular plastic, I don't know what kind of plastic that was, as opposed to the zip ties, I might have got away with it, but I was semi-successful, but it was still leaking. I said, the heck with it. And time was getting short because I have to have the car functional tomorrow. I called a bunch of places, and I didn't like the prices, or they couldn't get me in right away. So I ended up doing it myself, and because I had no choice. So here's what happened.